Welcome to the outbound call booking script. So this will be an overview of how the script works. So this is if you're calling opt-in leads, for example, people that request to download a lead magnet or someone that bought a low ticket stuff, whatever, the framework works the same. So you start with a name. A name is just Brian with XYZ company or influencer name. If you're calling low ticket buyers and you're trying to get them into high ticket, like someone who bought like $7 thing, you can go in from a customer support angle. Hey Jake, is just Brian with XYZ company name, customer support team. How you doing? Yeah, good, just hanging out. Yeah, looks like you requested some information about possibly getting outcome. Have you ever found what you're looking for, or are you still looking? So getting outcome, you just plug in whatever the outcome of whatever you're selling does. For example, if you're selling BizOp, helping people 9 to 5, starting a business, so it can sound like, yeah, some information about possibly starting a business so you can make more money. If it's trading, then about possible information about possibly getting into trading so you can make more money. Or if it's experienced traders, it could sound something like possibly getting better returns on your trading. If you're selling fitness, about possibly getting help with your health and fitness, right? If it's dating, possibly getting more dates, possibly having a better marriage, right? So outcome, not about the program, about the outcome. Have you ever found what you're looking for, or are you still looking? You're looking from like a curious tone. It's almost like checking in, right? So we stutter here on purpose to make it sound more conversational or natural. Because if you say those script too perfectly, then now it seems like you're just reading off a script. If you stutter too much, if you sound unconfident, now you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. So these are very strategic. Have you ever found what you're looking for? Also, emphasis on the found. On the script, depending on how you want to do it, whatever works better with you, I like to bold it and put a question mark in a dash whenever I'm doing an upward inflection. Have you already found what you're looking for, or are you still looking? Emphasis on the found, because when you say found, pause what you're looking for. Now they start to internalize, have I found it? Yes or no? And then you'll get different answers. They'll either say, I'm still looking. Let's just, for the easier sake, right? Let's just go into like lead magnet opt-in, for example. They'll just say like, I'm still looking. I downloaded it. I haven't looked at it, whatever it may be, or I don't remember. You may get that on an outbound call. So if they say I'm still looking, you just go ahead with the script. If they say I don't remember downloading it, I don't remember requesting information, yeah, so good. If you were to download something like that, what do you feel like would have prompted you to do it? So so if you were to thought about it, right? If you were to do it, what do you feel would have prompted you to do it? So at that point, you may get some answers from that, something more tangible, right? Or if they say download it, they haven't looked at it. You haven't looked at it. What are you going to do with you? So something playful to kind of get them open up. Okay. Well, when you initially downloaded the guides, what kind of outcome are you hoping to get? Like what prompted you to want to download it in the first place? So the first question, what you're trying to do is find an overarching outcome, right? How we find out that answer, it doesn't have to be this one specific question. It can be different questions. So you can be like, oh, like, do you know what you're looking for when it comes to getting better with your health, getting better with your fitness? Or it can say, yeah, okay, so when you initially downloaded it, what prompted you to want to download it in the first place? Those different types of questions. And they'll answer it. They'll be like, yeah, I'm trying to get better shape. I'm trying to get more dates. I'm trying to, make more money. So you want to get a tangible end outcome. When you're selling BizOp, you want to get answers like make more money, have more time, or like a little bit of both. If it's fitness, for example, losing weight. If it's dating offer, get more dates, right? And so, but if it's something like an improvement offer, meaning that let's say it's business coaching, for example, or if you're selling like to experienced traders, then you want to get something more specific. So, do you know what you're looking for when it comes to help with your trading? And you want to get answers like risk management or whatever that kind of thing is, like the main things you help people with. When I was selling sales training, for example, do you know what you're looking for when it comes to making more sales? And the answers we're trying to get is like questions, tonality, or objections. The reason why is because in a biz op, you can be more general, like make more money and have more time, simply because they don't understand the intricacies of what they need help with in that Airbnb business or trading or whatever it may be, because they haven't started yet, because they're making a transition. And that type of offer, that's fine. But if they're already doing that thing, and then let's say, for example, it's a business coaching offer, and they're trying to grow their business, for time, like no one comes to us wanting to shrink their business, right? So what kind of help do you feel like you need specifically within your business to grow? They'd be like, well, we need more lead gen, we need more better sales, we need better operations. Perfect. You get those types of answers. And then you go into what they're doing now, right? So if they said, we need more leads. Oh, what are you doing to get more leads now? Just plug their answer, segue into the next question. Is threading. So if they say, well, I want to get more dates. Oh, what are you doing to get more dates now? I'm trying to lose more weight. What are you doing to lose more weight now? I'm trying to make more money. Well, what are you doing for a living now? The reason why in a biz op you would ask, what are you doing for a living now, is because that makes more sense because they're kind of having a job to make more money. If they don't have a job, you can be like, well, what are you doing to make more money now? Right? So you go into that. Now, from here, you may get different types of answers. So they may straight up tell you, well, I'm doing the keto diet. Well, I'm working as a nurse, so on and so forth. But if they say something like, well, I'm doing nothing, because the answers we're trying to get here, we're not trying to get what specific, like the whole spiel of from end to end what they're doing right now. We don't need to know that. All we need to know is, do they have something they're doing to get the outcome now? Because as long as we have that, we can start pulling problems from it. That's all we're trying to do. If they say something like, I'm doing nothing, let's say it's a fitness offer. Oh, you can't be doing nothing. Like, are you going on walks? Like, what kind of diet do you have? Like, what's going on there? So at that point, yeah, I mean, like, I go on walks here and there. That you zoom out. That's all you need. Okay. And if it's like, for example, like watching like a dating offer, right? And then like, oh, what are you doing to get more dates now? I'm not really going out. Well, you got to be doing something. Are you watching like YouTube videos? What are you doing? Like, yeah, I watch some YouTube. Oh, how long have you been doing it that way? How long have you been doing that? Boom, you get a time frame. If they say like, for a while, that's not a time frame. Okay, is it like, because that can be subjective, so we don't know, right? Okay, so does that mean like 2 weeks too long, 2 months too long? What do you mean? Oh, we do that for 2 months. Okay, well, do you like it? Or is it working? It'll typically be one or the two. Okay. And again, it doesn't have to be these exact questions, but these are questions you can ask to find the problem. And what we're trying to do from this section is find a tangible problem. Okay. How long the problem's going on, what's causing the problem, and as what's the implication of the problem, aka how is the problem affecting them. So as an example, if they're working, if it's a biz op, typically it will do a like it question that'll land well. If they say they're working as a nurse, do you like it? You'll get a yes or no. From that, you can go down the thread of finding the problem. If they say, oh, I'm relying on referrals, is it working? So you'll ask those questions. At that point, you'll get a yes or no answer. So the reason why I want to ask it this way is because you get predictability in your sales calls. Because is it working? It's a yes or no question. We do it purposely to get specific answers in this case. There are times to ask open-ended questions. There are times to ask close-ended questions. This is when we do the close-ended. They'll say, if they say no, then it's a very easy segue to find a problem. Oh, what don't you like? Oh, what's not working? Oh, why not? And then they'll say, because I'm working too many hours, yada, 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 yada. Right? And we go into the next step. Now, if they say yes, it's so good, you just say, oh, cool, what do you like about it? Or, oh, cool, what's working? And then they'll answer, yeah, because it's a fulfilling job, da 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 da. Now I'll ask a two truths question. I learned this from Jeremy. I think a guy named Michael Oliver originally came up with it. I'm not quite sure. But a two truths question is this, because nobody is 100% satisfied with whatever they're doing right now. There's always something going on. You just got to ask it in the right way. So how we ask that is, I mean, it sounds like it's going all good. So what you're doing is you're pushing them away, which makes them like, yeah, I mean, like there's something going on. Is there anything you would change about either the process or maybe the outcome you're getting from that, if you could? So process or outcome. So typically how the two truths questions were asked is there anything you would change if you could? Now, if you have beautiful tonality, if you're very, very good at sales, then you can get some tangible answers from it. What I realize is for more beginners, people kind of starting out, people who don't have that beautiful touch of tonality, is that you may get some vague answers or they may be like, well, what do you mean? So when you funnel it down to either process or outcome, then now you get more tangible answers. So let's go through some examples. If you're selling BizOp, you can be like, I mean, it sounds like it's going all good. Is there anything you change about either the type of work you do or I guess the financial or time frame I'm getting from that, if you could? So what do we do there? Process is the type of work they do. So if they're working as a construction worker, the type of work they do is physical labor. So they may tell you problems about that. If you say the outcome, which is the financial or time freedom you're getting from that, if you could, they may tell you something about not making enough money or working too many hours, right? If you're selling something like, lead gen, is there anything you change about either the way you're generating the leads or I guess the quality or the outcomes you're getting from that, if you could? Then they'll either say, oh, referrals are not that reliable, or it's taking too much time, or the quality of leads are shit. If you're selling fitness, you can be like, oh, is there anything you change about either the way you're losing the weight, or I guess the results you're getting from it if you could? Then they'll tell you, oh, it's hard to stick to, or I'm not losing enough weight. Okay, you get the idea. And then they'll either say one of these two types of answers. They'll either tell you a problem, or they'll tell you about a desired outcome. As an example, is there anything you change about it if you could? And they'll either say, I'm not making enough money, the leads are shit, I'm not losing enough weight, I'm not getting enough dates, the quality of the dates are not good. That time is pretty simple to clarify and probe into the problem. Now, you may get the other answer, which is a desired outcome based answer, where they tell you something like, well, I'd like to lose more weight. I'd like it to be more consistent. I'd like to work less hours. I'd like to make more money. Now, that's a desired outcome. That's not a problem. And the reason why we need to get a problem is because businesses exist for creating value, and how value is created by solving problems. Because if there's no problem, a solution is not needed. Therefore, when you go to book the call, they may not want to go into the next call, or they don't show up to the next call, or they don't want to buy the solution, right? And all we're doing here is when you're booking the call is literally selling the next appointment. That's all we're doing. So if they're telling you a desired outcome-based answer, you can ask a question something like this, okay? You can either say, well, what's preventing you from making more money, right? What's preventing you from getting more leads now? You can ask it that way. Oh, why not just make more money in your job now? You can be like, well, because, it's capped. So why not? How come? What's preventing you from? Those are good questions. Also, you can ask it like this. Well, what have you seen in area that has you looking for desired outcome? Well, what have you been seeing in your job that has you looking for ways to make more money? So what is it doing? What have you seen as a visual word? What that does is now they have to go back to the thing, their job, their business, their health and fitness, whatever they're dating. And now they have to point out problems and why they want the desired outcome. They'd be like, well, because I'm not getting enough dates, because I'm not losing weight fast enough. Boom, now you got the problem. Okay. So you want to use those different questions and tools to get the problem. At that point, if it's vague, you clarify, oh, what do you mean inconsistent? Because inconsistent is a subjective word, you know? But if it's quite clear, that you don't need to ask the clarifying question. After that, you want to probe. Okay. Again, if they already expanded the problem enough, you don't have to, but you can probe into, oh, how long has it been going on? You can also ask how often. You can ask both if you want. But the reason why is because the longer the problem prolongs, the higher the pain point goes, right? They'd be like 3 months. Okay. And at that point, if needed, then you can go into, if they haven't told you already, how the problem is affecting them, meaning that them not having enough time itself is not like, yes, something, but it's not, you can be more tangible, right? So when you're booking the appointment, right, if your job is just to book the appointment, whether for yourself or for a closer, you don't need to go into like, oh man, my life is over, I hate my life. You don't need to go into that part, because if you go into too much pain point, now they're not going to want to show up to the next call, because they feel like they're going to get sold, because you sold too much in the emotions. What you want to do is just find a tangible problem, meaning that I'm not making enough money. Well, what does that do? Well, what do you mean? They'd be like, I can't pay bills. That's more than enough. If they say, oh, I'm working too many hours, what does that do? Or you can also say, well, what is that taking you away from? They'd be like, well, I can spend more time with my family. Could be some trouble. That's more than enough. If they say, I can't grow my business, that's more than enough. You can also say, like, if it's business coaching, what does that do to the business? I can't grow my business. Or barely breaking even. We're in the red. Perfect. If they say, if you're selling fitness, and if they say something like, yeah, I just haven't been able to stick to a diet because it's not sustainable. What does that do? Oh, I can't lose weight. Okay. Boom. More than enough. So you get that answer. That could be some trouble. You want to change that? You want to get a yes. And then you can do a quick gap build depending on what you sell. So you can, for example, if it's a make money offer. Okay, so let's say you're able to solve problem. Let's say you're able to get better lead quality. Let's say you're able to, start a business that you can make it successful. How much would you like to be making each month if you could? Let's say 3 to 6 months from now. Okay. And they say 10 grand a month. And where are you at now? So we can see the gap, 4 grand a month. So boom, boom. As soon as they answer it, interject, go right to the next question. Okay. In a fitness offer, you can be like, okay, so let's say you're able to get a more consistent diet in place. Where's your ideal weight to be at if you could? I'm at this, or I want to be at 120 pounds. Where right now, just so we can see the gap, 160 pounds. Again, how much weight are you losing each week right now? I'm losing this much. You can also go into that. Okay. If you're going to like, if your offer is helping to get more dates, okay, so how many dates with women that you're actually happy seeing, that you actually find attractive, are you seeing each month now? They'll be like one, or how much would you like to be seeing? I want to be seeing dating 3 girls. Okay, and where are you now so we can see the gap? 0. Okay. From there, if you want to qualify, you can qualify depending on what you sell, right? If you're selling a heavy investment offer that you may need to get, if they have to pay like 50K or something like that, then you need to either get how much they have cash in hand slash credit score, so on and so forth. So again, this is optional and offer dependent. But a simple general way of asking is, so as you and I both know, learning the right skills to get help is going to require some type of capital or funding. So as you and I both know, learning the right skills to build the legitimate business, that's going to require some type of capital or funding. So you say it in a demeanor where like, well, you and I both know that. Even if they didn't know, you and I both know that, obviously, right? And not in a condescending way, but like, you understand. And they're like, yeah, I understand. So, given that you find what you're looking for, are you willing to invest in yourself and you're starting your own business so that you could get to 10K a month? So, this is a very light way of qualifying it. So, there's different level of qualification. As you go in the calendar management section of the training, you'll see that qualification is kind of like a volume knob, meaning that the more leads, the more quality leads you have right now, and the more packed your calendar is, the picky you can be. Therefore, you can turn up the qualification. And the more empty your calendar and the more lower volume your lead has, then you can you want to be less picky about it. And if your calendar is basically empty, you just want to, as long as they have 2 legs and the heartbeat, you just want to like pass everyone through, right? And if you're booking into your own calendar, then you got to be okay with the close rate going down, because it's normal. It should be going down because you're passing everyone through. You're being less picky about it because they may have less money. Now, if you're a setter or you're booking into someone else's calendar, you just got to communicate with the other person, the closer, like, hey, just so you know, your calendar, I saw that your calendar is empty and we have less leads. So this person's not the most qualified. They don't have that much money, but I pass them on because that is better than talking to nobody, and you can pipeline them. So you just want to communicate. And so, but also if you're drowning in leads, then you can be more picky about it, right? So like, how much are you willing to invest so that you can? Okay. But you want to plug this in, given that you find out what you're looking for, because if you don't plug this in, you're more likely to get, well, depending on what you guys have. What do you guys have? How much does it cost? Right. So you want to plug that in. And then at that point, and then you don't have to offer this, to be honest. Like I when I was sitting for my own calls, I usually didn't even do this. I just like passed everyone through. And so at that point, especially when I was lower on calls, and then at that point, you want to offer the call. Okay, so it seems like there might be a possibility of us being able to help. We just need to make sure a few more things. What we could do is I can connect you with Fancy Closer Title, right? If you're setting for yourself, you can be like, what we could do from here is we can set aside some longer time where we can do more of a deep dive on where you're at, why you may need help with. And if it seems like we could help, we can walk you through how we help our clients in a similar situation as you get to the 10 grand a month. Would that help? They'd be like, yes. And Fancy Closer Title, it can be account manager, it could be like trading consultant, it could be business advisor, like whatever the thing is, you just plug that in. And then at that point, all right, cool, what's your time zone? EST. And while you're doing this, you already want to have the setup in your computer top. So you want to have the booking page obviously open and the calendar open. And in your time zone converter or whatever you got to use. In Google Calendar, I like to use there. You can put secondary time zone and put like other time zones in it. So like the major time zones you deal with, like EST, PST, CST, MST, Sydney, whatever, CET, those things. Or you can have a time zone converter open. That way you don't have to be like, okay, just wait a minute, let me just convert it for you. You want to be sharp, ready to go, smooth, no friction. So they say EST. Okay, so we have some availability left on tomorrow. So you want to say that as if even if your calendar is fucking empty, you want to say it in a way. You don't want to say like, "Oh, we're so busy," because that's too obvious and to try hard. Because okay, so we have some availability left tomorrow. Does morning or afternoon time work better with you? Afternoon. All right. And this can be evening depending on what the availability is like. All right, cool. How's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern? That works. So you just want to have the early stay. If you have availability later today, great. If you're selling, right, if you're a closer and you can sell yourself, then if you have time, they have time, you just want to take the call all the way to the end and pitch them. Don't put beers in front of you. Okay. But if you can't, or if you're setting for somebody else, you want to find the quickest time frame because that reduces no-show. All right. And then time zone. Okay. And then you put up the CRM and your email is this. All right, perfect. You send in the calendar invite, book them in. All right, I just sent the calendar invite. Did that pop up on your calendar? You want to make sure they have that in the calendar or their diary or whatever they best use, because that confirms and more likely to increase show up rate. They're like, yes. All right, see it. And oh yeah, you actually remind me of our client's Jack. Jack was kind of in a similar situation to you, where he was working 60 hours a week and he was getting burnt out. And after he learned how to start an Airbnb business from scratch, he was actually able to get the 10K a month profit, leave his job, and spend more time with his family. So we actually interviewed him, and he shares some of what helped him make that happen. Would it help you if I sent it over to you, that video, so you can go through it prior to the call? So what it's doing here is you're sending a homework material. I learned this from Anthony Vazzari. You're setting the homework material in a way, because you're going to send them client case study videos and educating them on increasing solution awareness, problem awareness, brand awareness, and maybe product awareness to prevent objections prior to the call. And so what we're doing here is you want to do that, but you get buy-in from them. You say, oh, and actually you remind me, almost as if you're plucking out of thin air. Like it's not in the script. You just remembered. Oh, and by the way, you actually remind me of this. This happened. They were in a similar situation. So you insert similar situation, because everyone feels like they're in a special snowflake. So people may give objections like, yeah, but I'm working too many hours. Oh, I'm a beginner, so this won't work. Oh, but I'm experienced, so this won't work. So you also want to, the pre-work is that you want to understand the different client case studies. So depending on what kind of lead you talk to, you can instantly come up with a client case study based on that. Oh, Shelby was actually already experienced, but she was struggling with the lead gen. But once we helped them with the lead gen and operations, they were able to scale to 50 grand a month. Want me to send you the video? They'll be like, oh yeah. And if you've done a good job at finding the problem and you frame this right, they'll be like, yeah, that'll be helpful. All right, cool. So either you send it. It's better if the closer send it, but if not, you can just send it. Or if you're setting for yourself, you send it. All right, cool. So I'll send it to you right after this. All right, cool. I'll send it to you right after this, or I'll have Jake send it to you right after this. Could you make sure to reply back to him, or could you reply back to me so I know you got it? They're like, yes. All right, great. I'll send it to you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. Hang up. Send homework email. Bada bing, bada boom. Ready to go. All right. So practice this and start implementing it. Let's book some call, close more deals, and let us know how it goes in the community.